Have you ever felt like your cat is watching you just a little too closely? Not in a playful way or like it wants food, but with this quiet, almost unsettling focus, as if it sees something in you that even you can't quite name. And here's the strange part: what if that gaze isn't about you watching the cat, but the cat watching a part of you you've never met? Now, maybe you've brushed it off as random behavior, but what if it's not? What if there's more going on beneath the surface? Carl Jung, of the most influential thinkers in psychology, believed that animals often appear in our lives as symbols of something deeper, especially in dreams or in moments of emotional change. And cats, they play a unique role in his framework. To Jung, the world wasn't just made of what we can see. He taught that our unconscious, the hidden layers of our mind, speaks in symbols, metaphors, and instincts. And cats, with their mysterious, independent nature, often symbolize those very forces we've learned to suppress. So the next time your cat sits across the room, staring at you without blinking, maybe it's not just being weird. Maybe, in that stillness, it's reflecting something inside you and a part of yourself you've ignored, a feeling, a desire, a wound that wants to be seen. Jung might say the cat isn't just watching you. It's mirroring your inner world, calling your attention to what's been buried beneath logic and control. It's not about superstition, it's about symbolism. And sometimes, the most ordinary moments, like the gaze of a cat, hold the keys to extraordinary self-awareness. So here's the real question. What is your cat seeing that you haven't yet dared to look at? Have you ever had a dream where a cat just stared at you, calm, silent, maybe even a little unsettling? Or maybe in waking life, your cat locks eyes with you for just a little too long, not demanding attention, not asking for food, just watching, almost like it knows something you don't. According to Carl Jung, this isn't just a coincidence. Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, the hidden side of our personality, made up of the thoughts, emotions, or desires we've pushed down because they don't fit who we think we're supposed to be. It's not evil. It's just unacknowledged, forgotten, and yet it shapes our lives from the background. And here's where the cat comes in. In Jungian psychology, cats often symbolize the shadow itself. Why? Because of their elusive, mysterious, and highly independent nature. You can't control a cat. You can't fully read it. Just like the shadow, it lives by its own rules. Jung even recorded dreams from his patients where cats would appear watching silently from the darkness. He believed those dreams were not random. They were messages. Moments when the psyche tried to bring a forgotten truth to the surface. So when a cat shows up, especially in your dreams or during emotional turbulence, it might be more than a pet. It could be your unconscious trying to speak, trying to say, there's something inside you that you need to see. And the question becomes, will you listen? Have you ever noticed how cats seem to show up everywhere, not just in your living room, but in ancient temples, medieval folktales, and even modern spirituality? There's something about cats that feels timeless. In ancient Egypt, they were honored as sacred protectors of the spiritual world. Killing a cat was considered a grave offense because they weren't just animals, they were guardians. In medieval Europe, though, the story shifted. Cats became symbols of witchcraft, mystery, even danger still, powerful, but feared. And in many Eastern cultures, cats are seen as lucky, spiritual companions that protect sacred spaces and bring balance to the home. Now, how is it that one creature can carry so many deep meanings across completely different civilizations? Carl Jung would say it's not a coincidence. He believed these repeated symbols across time and culture are evidence of what he called the collective unconscious, a deep layer of the psyche shared by all human beings. Within this realm live the archetypes, universal symbols that appear in myths, dreams, and spiritual moments. And cats, they're one of those archetypes. They don't just live in your home, they live in your unconscious. They show up when something inside you is shifting, when your soul is in transition. Whether it's grief, growth, or awakening, the cat becomes more than a pet. It becomes a bridge between your outer world and your inner one. So the next time a cat crosses your path, maybe pause and ask, what change is stirring in me that I haven't yet named? Have you ever noticed how a cat seems to show up at just the right moment, right when you're deep in thought, grieving, or going through some kind of inner shift? You're sitting in silence, maybe after a long day or in the middle of a meditation, and suddenly, there it is, your cat, entering the room, calm and quiet, no meows, no demand, just presence. Now, here's where things get interesting. In modern depth psychology, especially within Jungian circles, some believe cats don't just symbolize something in dreams, they activate something in real life. They show up, not randomly, but synchronistically appearing during emotionally charged moments, almost like a living symbol meant to guide us back inward. And part of what makes cats so powerful in this role is their distance. Unlike dogs who crave closeness and affirmation, cats hold space. They don't rush in, they observe. They make you come to them. And in doing so, they allow space for projection for you to see in their gaze or in their silence, something that's already stirring inside your soul. Carl Jung once said, where there is a cat, there is a threshold, a boundary between what we think we know and what truly drives us beneath the surface. So maybe your cat isn't just lounging on the windowsill. Maybe it's standing at the edge of your unconscious guarding a door you've forgotten how to open. Have you ever noticed the way a cat purrs when it curls up next to you, especially when you're feeling down or anxious? It's not just comforting, it's healing. Literally. Modern research has shown that a cat's purr vibrates between 25 and 150 hertz of frequency range, scientifically linked to physical healing. These vibrations can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even promote bone and tissue regeneration. It's like nature gave cats their own built-in therapy tool. But from a Jungian perspective, this goes even deeper. Carl Jung often explored the healing power of sound, rhythm, and ritual. In many spiritual traditions, drumming or chanting is used to access the unconscious. The cat's purr then becomes more than just a biological reflex. It becomes a kind of natural ritual, a sound that harmonizes the emotional field and draws us back into alignment with ourselves. And have you ever noticed how cats respond to grief? They seem to know when something's wrong lingering beside you during heartbreak, avoiding tension-filled rooms, or staring silently when words fail. Jung might say they're tuning into the archetypal emotional field, acting not as pets, but as silent guides mirrors to your unseen pain. So maybe when your cat purrs beside you, it's not just soothing you, it's speaking to something your conscious mind hasn't named yet. It's not just comfort, it's communion. Have you ever felt like life was quietly trying to tell you something, and your cat just happened to be there, almost as if it knew? Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming a whole authentic self by integrating all the parts of your psyche, especially the ones you've hidden or rejected. It's not just about becoming better. It's about becoming complete by embracing both your light and your shadow. And interestingly, cats often show up right in the middle of this inner work. During times of emotional upheaval, spiritual awakening, or personal crisis, a cat might begin acting differently. Maybe it lingers longer near you. Maybe it shows up in your dreams. Maybe it starts behaving oddly right when your inner world is shifting. In Jungian psychology, these aren't just quirks, they're signals. The cat becomes a living symbol, an unconscious message asking, what part of you are you still avoiding? Jung would likely encourage you to pay attention, and not just passively. He'd tell you to journal every cat encounter. What were you feeling? What was happening in your life? Did you dream of the cat later that night? Because in this process of individuation, symbols are like trail markers, and the cat mysterious, intuitive, emotionally attuned might be one of the most powerful ones. So the next time your cat sits beside you in silence, ask yourself, what is this moment trying to reveal about who I'm becoming? Carl Jung believed that nothing in life is meaningless. Not the dreams you forget in the morning, not the strange emotions you can't explain, and certainly not the symbols that return again and again, especially when you're going through something deep. So, what if the presence of a cat isn't random? What if every time your cat watches you with that calm, piercing gaze, it's actually reflecting something back at you, a part of your story, a part of yourself you've ignored, a quiet truth you're finally ready to face? Because in Jungian thought, cats aren't just pets. They're thresholds, living symbols, standing at the edge between your conscious mind and the mysteries that live beneath it. They guard the gates to the inner world. And sometimes, without a sound, they point you toward a truth you've been running from. So the next time your cat lingers beside you, we don't brush it off. Ask yourself, what part of me is being mirrored right now? What is this moment trying to show me? These small moments, when we slow down and pay attention, are where the real transformation begins. And if this reflection stirred something in you, let us know in the comments. Have you had a moment like this, where a cat seemed to sense more than it should? Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Jungian psychology, symbolism, and the strange ways the unconscious tries to speak to you. Soften through the eyes of the most unlikely messengers.